Welcome back into Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord. Wanted to make this video earlier, but I was sick. We have a lot of Braves stuff to cover. Obviously, the biggest news, Walt Weiss is the next manager of the Atlanta Braves, and I've been on the Twitter sphere, X sphere, whatever you want to call it, TikTok, Instagram, responding to a lot of you guys. Mixed reactions as expected, right? From Walt Weiss. They go the Braves way. That is what won out. But I want to hear, Alex, what you think, because frankly, I feel like when we had these conversations earlier, you were hoping for an external candidate.
I was hoping for an external candidate, but I'm not going to change teams or change my narrative. And in baseball, it still doesn't fucking matter who the manager is. I mean, I said it when Snicker wasn't the one who hurt all 5 of our starters in the rotation. I mean, he's not the one who made everybody forget how to hit in the playoffs a couple years ago. That's not his job. I mean, his job is to keep the clubhouse together. And I'd say he did a pretty damn good job of that. The job doesn't change now that Walt Weiss is the guy. His duty is to keep the locker room together, and then eventually he's going to have to pull some strings in the playoffs. That's it. That's the only thing managers do in baseball. Would I have liked an external voice? Yeah, sure. Am I going to lose sleep over it? No. Hell no. I still maintain that what happens in Alex Anthopoulos' office is far more important to the Braves 2026 season than whoever the manager was going to be. You could put me out there, and if you batted 1,000 this offseason, I'm getting us to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the thing is, a lot of people, even people came in public, I was, hey, dude, who do you want to be the Braves' next manager? And I would just be like, I kind of stumble and be like, dude, honestly, I have no idea. I thought Snit was fine. And guess what? This is kind of an extension of Snit. Now, I think the goal here with Walt Weiss is he's going to bring a lot of the good qualities of Snit. And Snit had great qualities. He kept the locker room together. He was even kill. He didn't go out there and overuse the bullpen during the regular season, despite everyone wanting him to use his high leverage guys every single day because we're all just so locked into the day rather than a 162 game season. Are there some analytically things where I was like, yeah, there were questionable decisions. And guess what? Walt Weiss is going to make questionable decisions. Guess what? Whoever the fuck we hired was going to make a lot of questionable decisions over 162 games because they're probably thinking about things that we're not always thinking about, right? Because they are managing a team over 162 games. Maybe it wasn't the right decision, but he wanted that guy to get some confidence in that scenario because maybe, 4 months down the line, we're going to need him in October.
Or to just know that he can't do it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that they're thinking about rather than just winning the game, even though all we want to think about is win on a night.
We're fortunate in that scenario where all we have to care about is that game. They're not in that situation.
Yeah. So, I think, just aside, but I kept saying, I was like, honestly, I think Walt Weiss wouldn't be bad. I don't want to change too much because I think the grass is always greener on the other side until you get to the other side and realize it's a heaping pile of shit. And there's no coming back from that. And I think the safe decision, and that is what you can call this, you're probably going to get a lot of really good things. And hopefully he's a little better than Snicker in some areas. And maybe he's the next great manager.
Let me put it this way. I don't think this manager decision was ever going to make the Braves, win a World Series. But I think this manager decision could tear down what special locker room we had. If you brought in a guy who butted heads with, Ronald Acuna Jr. or Matt Olson or Austin Riley, whoever, your superstar is, and that creates a divisive culture in the locker room. Now you're talking about that manager, really torpedoing the season. I don't think you could have gone in a direction anywhere that you were going to be like, okay, this guy is going to elevate everybody.
Yeah, there just wasn't, and you don't know. That's the thing. Maybe Danny Lehman of the Dodgers is going to be the next Bruce Bochy or Tony La Russa or Joe Torre. Maybe he would have been, but you don't know that before the fact. So until one of those guys goes on to have that Hall of Fame career, I'm not going to lose sleep over Walt Weiss. And I thought just as big of the actual managerial decision was the staff that he surrounds him, and we found out a little bit about that. And we stole a couple guys from the Mets. And I don't know if you were on social media. I'm sure a lot of you guys are because you're watching this on YouTube. But Mets fans were pissed off. And if you're pissing Mets fans off, usually I think you're doing the right thing. The Braves have been doing that for 30 years. They continue to do this. Now, Antoine Richardson's the ones that really intrigues me because I actually saw this news, 10 days ago, right? When he basically said, I'm not coming back to New York, and Mets fans were furious. I mean, this guy, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, never really thought, put two and two together that maybe he could be the first base coach for the Braves, because I figured he was probably leaving for some sort of promotion. Now, it turns out the Mets, the guy that just paid Juan Soto $750 million, wouldn't meet his contractual demand. So we actually won a bidding war with the New York Mets for a first base coach, which is some hilarious, absolutely fucking hilarious peacocking by the Mets. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're going to let this guy. Now, here's some stats that are really interesting. The Braves, and I know Acuna was injured, 82 steals last year, 26 in the majors. Also one of the worst all-around base running teams. I mean, we remember how many times we were getting thrown out at home, making stupid decisions. I mean, they were countless. One of the worst base running teams. The Mets were the best. 89.1% successful steal rate. 89.1%. Highest in the majors. 7 percentage points higher than the next closest teams. Juan Soto stole 38 fucking bases this year. He had 57 career stolen bases before this season. He didn't get caught stealing at second base the entire season. Like, that's pretty incredible. I mean, listen, I'm a guy who's always defense, fuck that. Base run, whatever, hit bombs, strike the guy out. We'll win a lot of baseball games. But those are some pretty incredible numbers. And it's even more incredible that the Mets let this guy out because of a contractual thing when they have more money than God. Like, when you talk about egos and peacocking, sometimes leading to horrendous decisions. Like, if I was Steve Cohen and I watched this happen and David Stearns was kind of handling all that, I'd have David Stearns on my ass and then spanking him. Like, what are you doing?
That's why I know that's the report, and it's not like it's from some nobody.
It's from pretty much everybody.
I don't believe that. I think it was I think it was just a battle of egos. I don't even think it's not like they couldn't afford it, because you said it. They have more money than God. Steve Cohen is by far and away the richest owner in baseball. And if he wanted to, he could buy Juan Soto's 10 times over. The fact remains is that the Mets thought that maybe they were just that good. And obviously he thought that he was a huge part of the Mets' success in that aspect. And the two sides just didn't respect each other in that regard. That's what I think. Now, obviously, I don't know shit. I'm just trying to read the tea leaves, because it makes absolutely no sense to let an integral part of your baseball operations like that. This isn't some doctor or something. This was a guy who is one of the 3 or 4 most important coaches on your team. In a sport that, you don't have many coaches. This isn't, college football where you've got a staff of 75. This is a staff of a dozen. So I can't believe that it came down to money. It's got to be an ego thing where one side was like, you weren't as good as you thought.
Well, I think that's what it is when it comes down to money. It's like, I'm not paying you that because that's a ridiculous salary. And the Braves are like, well, we'll pay you. So yes, obviously it didn't come down to Steve Cohen saying no. I think it came down, like you said, to egos between David Stearns. Yeah. That's why I said right. I'd have Stearns in there spanking him, because it's like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we peacocking just to peacock?
Literally, there is no benefit to breaking up.
Absolutely none. So
for him, he can go and stick it to them immediately.
Yeah, and he goes to a division rival, which it's hilarious, and it's so fucking Mets. It's so yeah. Mets. But we also get the Mets pitching coach Hefner, and this was another really intriguing one, because Rick Kranitz, probably the best coach on the Braves staff. Think about all the Braves. We talk about tons of, think about just Tyler Kinley, who we're going to get later, 0.72 ERA, Pierce Johnson, who came over, who we're going to get into later, no longer with the Braves, spoiler alert when we get in later. But there are so many guys that have come through this organization, all the young arms that have come and had success. Kranitz, I don't really know what happened there, but I think there could be a situation where it's more of a mutual split. He was gone for a large portion of the year because of personal reasons. So I think that could add something, but it's also because Hefner's widely respected and he's 39 years old, and everyone loves the next young, hot thing. And I just wanted to think back to when we were having these shows in June and maybe talking about the Mets and why they were having so much success. It was because of the starting rotation. The Mets starting rotation sucked. I mean, he had David Peterson making the All-Star team. Now, obviously, it came down to earth, but they got injured. We were up here talking about like upset that we didn't bring back Griffin Canning. Griffin Canning sucks. Hefner made him a viable reliever. Now, eventually, injuries took a toll, and they had no depth, and they had no talent to start with. So their bad rotation that was way over exceeding expectations got simply horrendous that not even God could have helped it. But really highly regarded guy. And I think so when you think about the totality of the start of the coaching staff, I think you got to be really excited for what they've done so far.
Yeah, I think you nailed it in the first part. That Kranitz, you need, and he's done a lot of great things. It's not just helping young guys like Schwellenbach adjust to this major league. Plenty of guys who are young, and whether we needed them or they just had made their, he did so many good things for helping the transition of young guys. But also guys like, think back to Iglesias. He sucked. And obviously the peripherals were good when we initially traded for him, but he still helped. And there's so many different stories just like that. But also, if you're the Atlanta Braves, you have got to know, and this is nothing personal whatsoever, you have got to know without a shadow of a fucking doubt, he's going to be there for 162, barring some, something unforeseen. And personal reasons aside, this is still business at the end of the day. And even if he's 1% worse than Kranitz, but he's there 100% of the time, he's better. That's just the simple math.
Yeah. And there's also something to be said, and this has been brought up a lot. And now that you have kind of two examples of it, the director of pitching getting let go immediately after the season, and then Kranitz getting let go. I've been asked a couple of times about the pitcher injury things. Obviously, all 5 of our starters eliminated, young arms consistently coming up here, having elbow injuries. Obviously, the Braves, like every other organization, have placed a heavy emphasis on velocity. All of these guys have increased their velocity once they've gotten to the majors. Like, was Kranitz a part of that? Are they trying to veer away from that? John Smoltz talked about it. It's something that he harps on constantly, that the whole league's doing it. So I'm not going to sit here and point fingers, but it is interesting that both those guys, after all the success, I mean, you think about the hits on the Braves' young arms. It's really uncomparable.
There is nobody that hasn't been touched but Max Fried.
Well, every
single person's been touched.
I'm talking more about, but injury wise, and I'm talking about just like how good they've been. I mean, Spencer Schwellenbach came up stud. I mean, barely any time. AJ Smith-Shawver was looking great. Like, Ian Anderson came up, looked great before injury. So like, it's Michael Soroka, like they have come up and hit at an alarming rate. Like
Hurston Waldrop.
It's not like, this isn't normal. Like most of the time, and I think people that were fans in 2016, 2017, when we had the number 1 farm system and watched a bunch of these idiots come up and just get absolutely plastered and ended up out of the league. Like, you're not supposed, like, we have a bad farm system. We've had a bad farm system for 5 years. Yet we just keep bringing up a guy and it's like, yeah, you're an all-star. You're an all-star. You're a frontline starter. Like, this is not normal. So the development of the Braves pitchers has been nothing short of remarkable. You typically wouldn't let go of the guys that are responsible of that. So I do think there is something potentially there where the injury thing, because it's been development injury might be something that they're trying to take a more serious approach about with these moves.
Maybe you can inform me, because I heard people talking about it on the radio. In my mind, it doesn't make any fucking sense. Rick Kranitz is responsible for major league pitchers and then maybe that medium in between AAA and the major leagues, obviously. The director of pitching is responsible for the entire program. Like, Rick Kranitz is not diddling AAA.
Yeah, no, you have a pitching coach in AAA, AA.
That's exactly my point. And then there's not their boss per se, but like who is kind of coordinating the flow chart, so to speak. Where it's like,
hiring these guys.
I mean, Rick Kranitz can be, responsible for some of these guys, but the development as a whole is an organizational thing. It is not a Rick Kranitz.
There is an organizational plan that all of these guys are implemented.
All these idiots on the radio are just talking about. Rick Kranitz talking about developing all these guys. And I'm like, He did to us. He helped groom them once they got to Atlanta.
And there's guys that, there's opportunities to work with these people in spring training and stuff like that. And there's definitely coordinating efforts, and everyone's trying to work on the same page and work on the same things and teach the same things. So, but you're right. Yeah. Like, he's focused on the major league team, and maybe in spring training, he's focused on some of those guys that get those opportunities, but there's an organizational plan. And it seems like, at least from these moves, that the Braves are trying to shift. Now, what I would say in my rebuttal to everyone talking about it, and I do not disagree with the fact that it does seem that way, is that we have been trying. Teams spend millions of dollars, millions of dollars trying to figure out the cause of these injuries, right? Like, and a lot of people just say it's velocity, and it very well might be velocity, but guys, velocity is not going anywhere. Like, kids are going to try to throw hard. And as long as you keep paying $200 million for the guy that throws 100 miles per hour and $25 million for the guy that throws 94, buddy, doesn't matter what you coach, man. You're going to have because all these guys work with outside coaches too. And he's going to be like, how do I throw 100? Like, that's happening. Like, so if it's velocity, that's never going away. And I just think it's been an endless endeavor that nobody's really found real answers to, other than velocity, about why these pitching injuries, which I don't think is something that's going away. So unless the Braves are all of a sudden going to be like, if you throw over 95, you're out of here, which they're not going to do. Like, these guys are going to go to other coaches and learn how to throw 100, because that is what people pay for. So I do think it's kind of a worthless endeavor if that's what the Braves are thinking, but it very well does, I admittedly, seem that way. Now to a couple of surprising moves, which happened today. Tyler Kinley and Pierce Johnson, both their options are not picked up. They save about $11 million, $5 million with Kinley, closer to $7 million with Pierce Johnson. I thought of one of these guys. I thought really both of them would be picked up, simply because the state of the Atlanta Braves bullpen. But I thought if one maybe got cut, wouldn't surprise. Either or. I think you're going to make a case for either or, and maybe they try to upgrade from the other. But the fact that both of them are, it means one of two things, right? It means one, we're cheap as hell. Like we're saving 11 million. Or two, we're going to go out there and spend some money and really upgrade this bullpen and make it a force to be reckoned with. I hope to God it's the second. But we did just come off an offseason where we spent $20 million in the previous season. And we made similar moves. Remember when it was like, oh, Travis d'Arnaud's option we picked up. Jorge Soler, trade, salary dump. And they were like, oh, well, we saved all this money. Now we're going to go spend it, right? No, we didn't. So hopefully it's the opposite. I'm hopeful. I've long said on this show that I firmly believe the Atlanta Braves are going to spend. Terry McGurk is out there.
I'm just about to give me a
Go
break.
ahead.
Trust what you see, not what you fucking hear. This fucking chap been saying this bullshit for 3 or 4 years now. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not, crying poor. Like, we're definitely not, the Rockies or the Marlins or anything. Like, we spend money. But if I have to hear him say, the goal is to be a top 5 payroll in baseball. You know how fucking easy it is to be a top 5 payroll in baseball? Just go spend money. Like, if you wanted to that badly, just go spend money frivolously. Like, who gives a fuck? Go bring in that guy. Like, I don't understand. If I have to hear him say, and I want them to spend, but this is the first offseason, I am not going to expect anything. And that way, I'm just pleasantly surprised, or I'm right. That way, I at least feel better about the situation. Because if I have to hear Terry McGurk's dumbass tell me one more time, yeah, we want to be a top 5. That's the goal. That was the goal 4 years ago. I mean, how long does it take?
Mm-hmm.
From what I saw, we had a bunch of guys who shouldn't have been we had like 2 guys last year in the bullpen that absolutely deserved to be a spot on a major league roster. The rest of the guys, no shot. The rest of the guys were those 1 to 2 guys that come out of spring training that are just lottery tickets. It just so happened we had 7 of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Braves payroll was going up. If you look at the Braves payroll from 2021 to 2024 at a extraordinarily high pace, about $30 million a year. So up until this past offseason, where they inexplicably went down $20 million from $238 million to $217 million, they were, on the fast track to getting there. So that's why I had every belief thinking that they were going to spend around $250 to $260 million last offseason. They didn't. I don't know. It's unexplainable. I really don't know because I know the Braves were in on other things. Like we know, like they talked about Garrett Crochet. Alex Anthopoulos even mentioned it. Them being on something like that. We signed Jeff Hoffman to a $40 million contract that went through, and then we didn't do anything else. We were in on Tanner Scott, who was signed north of $70 million. So there were things in the works that just never came to fruition. But at the end of the day, you didn't spend. You didn't spend $1. You didn't fucking do anything. And all you're trying and yada, 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 save it. I don't want to hear it. I don't give a crap what you tried to do, Alex Anthopoulos. I don't give a crap what you say, Terry McGurk. You got to, put your money where your mouth is. And I hope, this is my hope. I hope that the Braves' lack of spending came from a place of complacency and not greed. Obviously, the greed being ownership, being that I hope it just came from Alex Anthopoulos, and he had mentioned this 7 times already this offseason. I'd been to the playoffs 10 straight times. We did come in with the second best odds to win the World Series, so there was expectations for us to be a really damn good baseball team, and maybe he thought he could figure things out. It all unraveled. I'm hoping it just came from complacency and not greed from the higher ups. That's my hope. And but guess what, guys? We're all the next 5 months is going to tell us all we need to know. And I will be up here. I have defended ownership. I have taken that stance since the start of last season that it came from a place of complacency. If they don't spend this offseason, I will flip the script. I will go scorched earth on Braves ownership until they spend $1. And that's not going to do much. Just like we yell about Arthur Blank all the time.
We can do something. We could just short Liberty Media. We could just get all of Braves country to short Liberty Media stock.
If you look at Q3 earnings, that seems like they're killing it. I mean, it's the golden goose. The battery's the golden goose, man. They are making a shit ton of money. There is no reason payroll should ever decline ever. They are making so much damn money. So it should go up significantly. And I'm hoping that these moves are just like, hey, we're going to go out there and get a Devin Williams.
We didn't even talk about the moves. I mean, Kinley, I wouldn't have been surprised either way because he was good for us, but like overall bad. I mean, he was good for us, really good, but overall bad. Pierce Johnson was never bad, ever for us. I mean, ever. He was always good. I think he got, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he was on the IL like once or twice too.
147 appearances in 3 seasons, and it's really 2.5 seasons.
I mean, that's a guy that you would love to have as your 6th inning guy for $7 million.
And I mean,
like, are you going to get that much better?
In the regular season, there were times where admittedly, he'd give up a bomb, be like, I don't trust this mother effer. But, we were in the playoffs 3 times. Pierce Johnson, our bullpen, I know you want to talk about one of the good things of the last 3 first-round postseason exits. Our bullpen went out there and shut down the other team relentlessly, gave our offense time and time, chance after chance. They just couldn't store a damn run. So I really don't get it, to be honest. I don't get it. Like that's why I'm sitting here. I would have came up here with a lot more confidence saying that the Braves are going to spend this all season if I didn't just watch them cut 2 pretty decent relievers over $11 million.
Like Kinley would be the guy I was talking about, one of those 2 guys where it's like, if we have to eat this $5 million, whatever his salary is, that's okay. That 7-8 guy that's like, we don't really expect too much. That's probably going to be a shuffle all season long until we get to the trade deadline and then, really knock somebody back. That's kind of that guy I was talking about. But
I mean, look at the Atlanta Braves bullpen right now, guys. No Raisel Iglesias. Now, there was a report from Francis Romero that the Braves will try to act quickly in there, so we'll see if something gets done. But right now, free agent, you're going to have to pay for that guy if you want to keep him. No Pierce Johnson. No Tyler Kinley. I mean, who are your setup, man? Dylan Lee? I mean, okay.
Dylan Lee's us. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying. Like, Dylan Lee's your 6th inning guy at most.
What Big Joe Jimenez?
Joe Jimenez.
Guy hasn't pitched in over a year. Ronaldo Lopez, maybe
Grant
that's what
Holmes, maybe.
maybe, but like
we're really putting our faith in some guys that might never pitch again.
I mean, we're talking about 3 guys that literally had season-ending injury. 1 guy that didn't pitch at all. 1 guy that made 1 start, and one. Like,
now we're starting to make sense. This is the Atlanta Braves we're talking about.
And like that understandably, and I'm sure everyone that's listening scares you.
Yeah, it should.
Let's just, well, you know,
hope is not a strategy. We say it all the time.
No.
We hope Grant Holmes, didn't need surgery.
I'm saying it scares you if those are the guys. Fuck it, we're screwed. Don't even watch the season next. Don't even watch. Yeah, don't even watch. I mean, I'm gonna watch, but don't even watch. I'm just saying you ain't winning. Like, I fully acknowledge this team needs investments into it. I was so critical of how poor the roster construction was last season, and it was top to bottom. It wasn't necessarily your star power, but your depth was non-existent in the rotation. Once 1 guy went down, you were screwed. Once 5 guys went down, you were really screwed.
Nobody is not screwed.
The bullpen, the depth, and then the bench. I mean, what the hell was that bench? Eli White, like, congratulations, he had a good little year, but like, it was the worst bench I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there was no preparation for any kind of disaster, and good Lord, did we face disaster, but we couldn't, and we found that out early in the season. We were sucking a long time before, guys 3, 4, 5, 6 went down with season-ending injuries. Like, we were never over 500. We started out 0-7. Like, once we lost Jerks and Profar, we were like, Alex Verdugo? Like, these were the kind, like, they completely ignored the depth of this roster. So that's why it pissed me off when people strictly blamed ownership. I'm like, it doesn't cost a lot to fix your bullpen. It doesn't cost a lot to make sure you have some guys, sitting there on the bench in case someone gets suspended for 80 games. It doesn't cost a lot to do those things. And those things were completely ignored.
Alex Anthopoulos couldn't have Jesus Christ himself couldn't have handled all 5 starting pitchers going down. Let's just call it space.
Yeah, but the Braves couldn't handle 1. And that's the thing. The Braves were shit all year. I don't want that. I'm going to
defend my man.
There's nothing to defend. He was horrendous last offseason. He didn't do anything.
Ozempic AA.
Yeah.
Couldn't have prepared for Profar's suspension, I guess. Couldn't have prepared for the 5 starters going down. Couldn't have prepared for some of the other guys, position players going down for whatever extended time. Couldn't have prepared for Ozzie Albies and Mike Harris to forget how to play baseball. I mean, I really don't. In some aspect, I agree. The bullpen, like I said, we had 6 guys in the bullpen at one point where we were like I looked up and I was like, those 6 guys don't belong on a major league roster. Like, those 6 guys were the one guy you bring out of spring training where you're like, lottery ticket, fuck it. We'll fill that spot at the trade deadline. That's the only aspect I could, and maybe the bench.
Well, the starting pitching depth was horrendous.
We thought it was going to be really fucking good.
No, they thought Spencer Strider was going to be Spencer Strider, which was stupid. They thought even
if they had lost a guy, they were like Hurston Waldrop's on the cusp, and they were right.
He was not on the cusp until later in the season.
Maybe they were ahead of the development, but he did arrive.
Ronaldo Lopez had fatigue injuries.
I agree.
They knew that.
Stupid.
Hector Neris was our setup man for one goddamn game. That's who they got. They literally thrust him. Listen, it was bad. And it's fine. I'm not sitting here clamoring for Alex Anthopoulos jobs. I don't know what the fucking happened. And frankly, I don't give a fuck. I don't. Because we're on to 2026. And all I'm saying is we'll learn a lot this offseason about what happened last offseason. Like, was it Alex Anthopoulos just getting complacent? Was it the greed from ownership? They've got to spend. It's clear as day.
There's no way to fill the voids that we have right now without spending a large amount of money.
And guys, I don't know if you've looked at the 2026 payroll as it stands right now. We're looking. I don't know if Spotrac included the team options for Kinley and Johnson. But yesterday I did something. Go check it out on the site, Sports Talk ATL. $197 million already. We were at $217 million.
Money.
So that's already allocated to the roster. I don't know if that includes Kinley or Johnson, but let's say it doesn't, and that's 180. You don't have a lot. Like, if your cap is $220 million, you ain't got a lot of money to spend. So,
oh wow, I was like $250 million. We got a lot of money to spend. 240, $240, $250
Well,
million.
they better spend. That's all I'm saying. And it's got to be 30, $40 million over they were at last year. So we'll figure it out.
At least 20.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a fun offseason. I hope. Because they make moves like this. Like, we've got to get at least 3 relievers. Like, that's facts. Like, we have to go out there and buy 3 relievers. We'll see what they do with the bullpen. We know we want Ha-Sung Kim back. We're looking at outfielders. So it's going to be interesting.
A closer, a DH, a shortstop,
a starting pitcher.
Should be fun.
It'll be fun, and we're going to be here for it. Go Braves. That's all we got left to say. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we got some Falcons content coming up for you later in the week.